Hello everyone, my name is Jeff Hoagland and welcome back to another daily draft video here on my YouTube channel. As we open our first pack here, nothing really jumps out at me as a particular bomb. The cards that are playable in this pack, there actually aren't even that many playables in this pack. There's a Diamond Favor that I'm happy to pick up when I'm in Diamond. Any of the coins are reasonable. Battle Preparation's like an okay wild card, but it's definitely not first pickable. Canyonwood Fleetfoot I don't think is kind of a mediocre card at best. Adamantine Cavalry is a fine top-end bomb for a Diamond Flyers deck, but it's not particularly good if you have reasonable top-end bombs. I think I'm actually just going to take the Well. It's the most valuable card here, and who knows, like, Sapphire Blood is a reasonable archetype in this format, so maybe we'll just get past an Underworld Officer here and then like have on-color fixing. In addition to a valuable card. Pick number 2 here. So cards that jump out at me in this pack as being reasonable. The Rift Spasms. This card is very powerful in like the Ardent or Underworld Charge archetype with either Tez or I'm blanking on the Ardent Champion's name, but that's kind of difficult to commit to this early, especially. Webborn Apostate is very good. It's like a 2/1 for 2 that on deploy you take one of your opponent charges and give it to you. A lot of people play the 5-charge champion in this format, so putting your opponent behind a turn on their charge power while you being ahead a turn on yours is usually a pretty big game. Other cards that are playable in this pack are the Cerulean Sage. It's a really good early drop that applies pressure and is an evasive threat. Dread Apprentice is very good in the Dreadling archetypes. 3/2 for 3, Scrounge 1, deploy, so it like turns a little bit of Scrounge fodder into a lot of Scrounge fodder. I'm going to go ahead and pick up the Webborn Apostate here. Determined Bushy is also okay. We could still possibly be playing this Wall of Cunning, though. Like, I'm by no means committed to playing this card. We'll see what good cards we get past here along the way. This pack, playables of note, the Wicked Web Spawn is pretty reasonable. Ruby's Favor is okay. I don't know if this card's great in this limited format. It's like an okay combat trick. Blitz, these mobilized 3-cost combat tricks are very powerful. This one especially is just like 4 points of reach a lot of the time. Just like jump out of nowhere and kill your opponent. Razor Edge Duelist, very reasonable diamond cards, like 2 cost 2/2, stalls the board and can apply pressure when your opponent doesn't have anything early. I'm gonna go and pick up the Cloudbounder though. Love this card. 3/3 for 5, mobilize flight. So if you have a 2-drop, and we've got a Webborn Apostate already, this can be a 3/3 flyer on the second turn of the game, which is just like huge, evasive, reasonable body, applies pressure nicely. A lot of the decks in this format feel really kind of slow and clunky, so like anytime you're able to like apply fast pressure with something like Cloudbounder, you can usually get ahead in a game, and like you can leverage it into a position where like you can pressure their life low enough that they have to make bad blocks or bad attacks at some point that you can capitalize on. This pack, playables that jump out at me. Shadowblade Slicer is an okay card. I don't think this card is worth going into Blood for, though. Scrounge 3 can be kind of difficult to achieve at times if you don't have a lot of Dreadlings going on. Vanquish is playable removal, destroy target troop with 4 power or more. Ardent Allegiant creates a Valor. I'm not a huge fan of the Flashpaw Trickster. It's a 4/2 deploy, gain a charge. I suppose I could pick this up and hope that the... what's it called? Wheels? Yeah, actually, the Sweep Away is kind of a playable card, and I was going to talk about this being good, but I'm going to grab the Flashpaw Trickster in the hope that the Rift Spasm wheels, I think, and possibly move into Ruby Sapphire. Rift Spasm is a really powerful uncommon. If you gained 2 or more charges in a turn, it either creates you a 3/1, draws you a card, or makes itself larger. So if we can get that deck, I haven't actually drafted that deck before. I'd kind of like to play around with that. And Sapphire is definitely one of the more powerful shards in this limited format, so like having a powerful card and then one of the better shards seems like a reasonable thing to be doing, especially since we've got 2 uncommons here that both finish charges. Another Cloudbounder, just going to snap this up here. Other things that jump out at me, Sweep Away is fine. Mechanized Gear Scout is okay. I really only like this in the Diamond Sapphires deck because putting Flight Gem on this is reasonable. The rest of the gems in it are fairly mediocre. Talon Watchkeeper's like okay if you draft a bunch of them, but again, you're definitely not going to go into Diamond to grab this card. So it's between the Sweepaway and the Cloudbounder, and I think I would much rather prioritize the Cloudbounder, just like draft a bunch of 2-drops and just like consistently play 3-cost 3/3s on turn 3. At least we have nice Hex music to listen to while we wait for our next pick. Man, we're a lot of picks in without committing to a second charge yet. Vigilant Duskwing is just a great bomb. 3/5 flight at the start of each opposing champion's turn. Ready this. There's nothing else in this pack that really makes me want to move into it. I guess the Orbi Coolion, however this card is pronounced, could be reasonable. Just especially with 2 Cloudbounders, but I feel like I want to take the Vigilant Duskwing because it really sends the message to the person I'm passing to that they should not be in Sapphire, because we've not been passing a lot of good Sapphire cards. Our curve's a little bit high at this point, but we've still got 2.5 packs here to pick up 2s and 3s. Ideally, we want a bunch of 1s and 2s. Like if we get some more the Cerulean Sages, the one cost 0/3 with Diligence, like that's very good with Cloudbounder as well. Just want things to enable turn 3 Cloudbounders. Hashtag all of the turn 3 Cloudbounders. Yeah, this is a perfect pick for us, and again, sends the message that it's the only Sapphire card in the pack that's good, so no one's going to be moving into Sapphire off of this. Webscribe is a 2-cost 1/3, comes up the board for us, mobilizes out the Cloudbounder, and whenever you gain a charge, target opposing gets -2 power until the start of your next turn. This card's also very good with, like, this is quick, so, like, we can gain a charge at quick speed and trigger Webscribe as a combat trick. Webborn Apostate can also gain us additional charges to trigger this multiple times in a turn to help fog early attacks or help us give us profitable combat steps. I'm going to hide this for now. Probably good chance we're not playing it. Another Webscribe here. Yep, it's another 2-drop. It's another reasonable card in the context of our deck, and we still haven't committed to a second shard. The one thing that's a little bit awkward about our deck so far is we're kind of split on Underworld and Ardent Troops, and usually if you're drafting the Rift Spasm deck, you want to be more focused on one or the other, since the champions trigger based on playing a specific type of troop. But I think these cards are all good enough that, like, if we wanted to play Tez, we would still play Tez with this deck if we get the Rift Spasm back around. Got 2 more picks. No, this will actually be our first pack, and the Rift Spasm did not make it back around. That said, I think it was in this pack. We got a Syracuse coins though, so definitely gonna snap that back up. I love picking the coins early and often in this format. You almost always end up with too many playables, so like being able to upgrade one of your resources into something that can cycle or have some utility. Like this was actually very good and limited. It readies a troop when you cycle it, so it requires you to have a troop in play to use it, but it's also like an insanely good combat trick. They can like attack into your troops that are exhausted and then like ready something and eat one of their guys. Guys or gals. I don't think I've ever gone this many picks without going into a second shard in this draft format before. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? I'm not a big fan of Windswim, interrupt target card with cost 4 or less. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick up this Rock Slider. It's a 1/4 that when you gain a charge, it gets +2 power and crush until end of turn. And like, we've already kind of got a charge theme going on. We'll see. And like, picking up 1 card by any means is not committing to it in the slightest. And like, we already have, even without the Rock Slider, like 7 playables out of this pack. So doing pretty well. If we see quality removal in another shard, we'd probably pick it up. I think the only quality removal we passed at this point was Vanquish, if I recall. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the Razor Edge Duelist here. It's probably just like the highest quality card in the pack. Dread Deployment really isn't worth playing, I don't think, in this deck. You need a pretty specific Dreadling archetype for that. This is another 2-drop, that would be nice. The Diamond Sapphires archetype is very powerful in this format, and it has Diligence, so it plays well with Cloudbounder. There's a lot of really good common diamond removal in the format as well. Nothing particularly exciting in here. I'll grab the Prodigy. Non-zero chance we play this card if we end up in Ruby Sapphire. What we got? Alright, I'm gonna grab the Boon for now. Most playable card in the pack. Oh, I guess we got a Razor Ritualist. I'll grab the Talon Keep Watcher. If we end up in Sapphire Diamond and we get a few Talon Keep Watchers, like you go 3-2 on 2 into 3-2 on 2. On 3-2 on 3, just like 6 evasive power right off the bat. I'm gonna grab the Windswim. The Friar Tusk I'm never gonna main deck anyways, and you're not always gonna board it in every draft set. Usually board it at least once. It's good against Dreadlings. Windswim a card that's a Sapphire playable. Who knows? Maybe we end up on Mono Sapphire, honestly, if the packs keep staying this open. We haven't got any Shackling Strands yet, which is a little bit disappointing. 10 out of 10, we'll grab these coins, because if we open some kind of bomb wild card, we're probably playing it at this point. I'll grab the Elder Shriek. Playable. Kind of playable. If you end up with a few more Shrieks, and the Whispers in pack 3 are good. Bomb? Revision. Alright, give me a bomb that I can commit a second shard to, or just a Sapphire Bomb. Underworld Officer would also do. Alright, what do we got here? So, Parallel Realities. Target troop you control gets, when this attacks, summon a copy of this, then revert this. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of a bomb. So you can, like, put this on your Cloudbounder, and then it attacks and makes another Cloudbounder. So, usually, this is, like, good for a copy of one of your troops, so long as you're in a board state where you can attack. So, that seems plenty reasonable. And then if you're in a board state where you can attack, and they don't have removal the following turn, you just get to, like, keep replicating your guy and snowball the game. Still just all over the place in terms of what our second shard's going to be. Really wish we get past a strong uncommon and something to like get a message that that's what we should be moving into. So, this pack, the playables, none of the uncommons are particularly impressive, so obviously Rare got taken out of here. Explosive Interlude is an okay removal spell. Feed the Flames is a fine removal spell. Chastise is basically a premium removal spell. I'm going to go ahead and snake that, since we already have this Razor Edge Duelist here. And I guess we'll just play Diamond Sapphire Flying Dorks. Flashpot Trickster gets marginally worse, but I guess this is probably similar to a piece of removal, right? It's just gonna like come in and eat something in combat a lot of the time and give us a charge. Like kill target idiot on the ground, gain a charge is probably a playable card. It's a little expensive, but the charge upside might make it worth it. We could also just like play it on our turn 4 to trigger 8 on the 4th turn of the game, which doesn't seem completely unreasonable. If these next couple packs go well, we also don't have to end up playing it. We usually end up with extra playables. This is the second Talon Keep Watcher in these packs. I think I'm going to take the Webborn Apostate just because like it's a good 2-drop and I like stealing charges from my opponents, so I'm going to grab that. There might have been merit to taking the 1/4 as well that diligences to the Skittering Cultivator and diligences to make 2 guys, but like I think Webborn Apostate's a little bit better. It also plays well with the Web Scribes that we have here. Usually you can trade your 2 power guys in combat with one of their 2 power guys. You can trade with a 2-drop or a 3-drop and be happy you took a charge from them. Like if that card trades 1 for 1, it generated a small amount of value. Generally a tempo as well. Putting them behind other champ power is usually pretty reasonable. Nope, and there's a payoff card too. Phoenix Guard Lancer, 4/4 Mobilize Flight Steadfast. This is 14 cards in this pack, so 3 people have pulled cards with this, so the 3 people to our right are not in Sapphire Diamond, because this card's a huge pick priority in Sapphire Diamond. Happy that we have 5 quality 2-drops here, so we can play this on 4 pretty consistently. We've got plenty of bombs here at our top end, so we're looking for more removal and possibly some card draw. Just have the 1 Chastise so far. There's another Vigilant Duskwing here. I feel like I'm just going to grab this Talon Keep Watcher, and then I'm going to put these in the main deck, and hopefully some of those, 1 or 2 of those other Talon Keep Watchers that we passed earlier make their way back around to us. Because if we get, God, if both of those make their way back around, that would be insane. Like having 4 of this card, plus having a pack 3 to like pick up Talon Keep Hunters too still, is nuts. But I always play the Watchers if I have at least 3 of them, so I'm hoping at least one of those other 2 is going to come back around. Let's have a really aggressive deck. You do like Talon Keep Watcher on 2 into Cloudbounder and more Talon Keep Watcher and just start pressuring. Nothing particularly good for our shards in this pack. Is there anything I want to cut from an opposing? The Sanguine Boon and the Milky Venom are kind of annoying, so is Xanthos Hunger. Yeah, I guess I'll just like cut the Hunger. This sacrifices a troop and its controller gains 4 life and draws 2 cards. Most importantly, this is a quick action, so like your opponent can sack their troop in response to your removal spell on it. Get them some crazy value. Canyon Fleetfoot, I've talked about this card not being terribly impressive a few times now. I really like Outflank, just like a really reasonable combat trick. It gives +2, +4, and has Mobilize, so you can like play it for 1 resource. Alright, so that is, we're at 24 cards right now, so we haven't quite started wheeling packs yet. Man, Sweep Away and another Vigilant Duskwing. Huh. I think I'm just going to grab a Duskwing here. It's like lots and lots of bombs up here. I'm going to make sure when we draw our Parallel Reality, it's going to be good for us. I'm going to hide this Trickster for now, because I really don't think that card's worth going up our curve at the top end for just like a 4/2 with Flash. One of the Talon Keep Watchers came back around. That gives me hope that the next one's going to come back around too. Man, if we get four of these and then 1 to 2 Hunters, that would be insane. So Hunter is a 4-cost 2/2 flyer that when it comes into play, it gives all of your Watchers and other Hunters in all zones +1/+1. So when you play the first one, not only does it let this start attacking, but it turns it into a 4/3. It's really pretty insane. And like these guys block well, and they trade up a lot of the time because they have 3 power, and they enable turn 3 Cloudbounders. Just like everything we want to be doing in life. This deck doesn't have a lot of removal, but it's going to be able to race really effectively. I think I'm going to grab the Friar Tusk here at this point. Let's do this to do with Conscript, right? Yeah, so we're not Conscript. I want to grab Friar Tusk. He's pretty good in the Diamond decks against Dreadling archetype, since they have to keep attacking in. You get a 2-3 with Life Drain that gets to block and gain you some health. I think the next pack would have had the Talon Keep Watcher in it, so let's see. Hopefully. Hopefully. I've seen these guys go real late. I think the first one we picked up, like, what, second or third to last pick? Maybe that was a different draft. There's so many drafts. Rats. No Talon Keep Watcher. We got Sweep Boy, though. Put target troop into its controller's hand and summon a Broombot. Just a good old 2-1. This is a quick action, so, like, it's a card that generates you tempo and, like, adds pressure to the table. You can also turn 3 Sweep Away into turn 4 mobilize your Broombot for Phoenix Guard Lancer, which is not something that we mind doing all that much. I'll bet you someone just picked up the Watcher just to, like, cut someone like me off of it. Yep, probably saw the rest of them going around and we're like, I'm gonna pick this up and make someone feel. That's fine. 3 Watchers is good. Hopefully we get a Hunter in the next pack. Maybe even 2 Hunters if we're really lucky. We also don't have that many 4s, so we've got 17 playables pulled out here right now, which is not bad. The Arachnid, 2-4, just for 3. Probably won't make the cut, but for now let's pick it up. Depending on how pack 3 goes, we may or may not play that. The deck is light on removal, but heavy on aggression, so maybe we'll just play and curve out and slay some nerds. One more Packaroonie to go after this one. I'm not grabbing another Winds, but I'm going to take the Sanguine Boon. Probably never even going to board in this one, so just grab the card here that gives Life Drain. Cuts Trick. Less Trixies. Less Trixies. Take the card that blocks our 1-1 flyers. Hide this 2-4 for now. Hopefully we don't have to play it. I actually think Reversion is main deckable. It's just like 1 cost revert target card, and there's enough tricks in this format that I feel like disabling a trick at instant speed for 1 is pretty reasonable. Like, saves you in a combat step, basically. So this pack, there's no removal in this pack, which isn't particularly great for us. Moonrise Elder is a 3-4. This says create a Valor for each Ardent Troop you control when it comes into play. We really don't have that many Ardent Troops in our deck. I think I'm actually going to pass this guy over for the Grimskull Tactician. This is a 3-2 for 3, so it like fits into our curve a little bit better when we want to be more aggressive. And when this or another Socket Troop enters play to control, you exhaust target thing, which that's not super relevant, but the fact that we can put a Flight Gem in here, it's basically a 3-2 flight on attack for 3 is super reasonable. I think this card's great in this format in general. It was a good last format too, actually. Ruby Diamond deck played him a lot. Up to 19 playables here. Sad day, only got 1 coin again. That's fine. Not the end of the world. Let's get some hunters here, some Talon Keep hunters. Head out and go hunting. Would also like 2 pieces of removal. I've got exactly Chastise right now. Web Scribe's like pseudo removal, I guess, but would really prefer to hit at least 3 pieces of removal in my deck. Get a Bring to Justice. Even a Crackling Blast would probably be playable at this point. We're so short on removal. We got enough plus charge things that like the Crackling Blast is good for that reason too. There's nothing in this pack that's particularly exciting in our thresholds. The Gust Mage is like okay because we've got the Cloudbounders and the Phoenix Guard Lancer, but I'm actually going to grab the Guppy Gloves because I mentioned we're light on removal, and this card is pseudo removal. Cost X, double Sapphire Threshold, target troop gets -X power permanently, so combat trick / removal. Very reasonable card when you're light on stuff for sure. This could almost be a removal spell for like when your opponent's making an attack and planning to blow you out, you get to get them right back. This is also good against like Grandfather Elk, gives +3/+3 champion power. It's good against Shackling Strands, which is a common piece of Sapphire removal out of set 6. So can undo a lot of different things like that. $20 playable cards. Need 2 more. 2 Talon Keep Hunters, please. Please. 2 pieces of removal. 2 of each. 2 of each. Would not complain about 2 of each. I'd have to figure out what to cut, but we'd do it. We'd do it. And survey says... What is this pack? What pops here? So we've got a Shock Duster, which is a card that's okay. It's like another combat trick utility troop. Target troop gets -1/+2 permanently, so it can just be an 0/4 that's quick. You can also like make combats go your way. I'm not a big fan of Duskwing Priest, just like a 1/1 life drain flight. We don't have Valors in our deck and stuff like that. We've already got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 2-drops, so plenty for Cloudbounder. I'm going to grab the Shock Duster for now and just put it in the board. We'll probably board this in against a more aggressive deck, but I don't think we want to start it. Broodnet is pseudo removal. Exhaust target troop. It gets to the start of your turn. If it says 3 power or less, exhaust it. So there's a lot of annoying threats that you can just tack that on and they just basically go away. As long as they're not a Diligence card, you'll be A-okay. Need 1 more playable to be happy. Like playing 18 resources in these decks, especially when we've got, you know, three of these up here. Jet Cadet's actually a card I really like a lot. Just a 2-power flight for 2. And we get to curve like Jet Cadet into Grimskull Tactician to like Phoenix Guard Lancer, or Jet Cadet exhausted into Cloudbounder. Then on turn 4, we're like ready with 5 power of flying. Like, get to pressure your opponent out of the game really quickly. It's another 2-drop. Getting to do something on 2 consistently is really good in this format. So that was pick 4 out of that pack, I believe, or pick 5, and we still haven't seen a Hunter yet. Which is sad. We're probably not going to get it. Wish I would have picked up the other 2. If I'd have known we were going to see a 3rd one, I would have snapped up all of these. Cleansing Touch is like okay. It's like a more expensive version, but it can make a Valor if you target your own thing. I think I'm actually going to pick up the Patrol Bot out of here just because like I have so many 2s that going 2 into a 3 pretty consistently is good. Hopefully we're going to get a card better than this 2/1 with Flight for 3, but it's definitely not unreasonable in the deck that we have right now. Kind of strange that our curve doesn't have any actual 4s. This is like a pseudo 4, but not actually. I think we're technically at 23 playables in here now, so I already need to cut one, so maybe the Patrol Bot is not making it regardless. Come on, come on, just ship a Hunter my way. Ship a Hunter my way. Womp womp. Still nothing going on in here. I'm gonna grab the Warband Ruffian, just like cut someone off a good Ruby card. We've got plenty of playables at this point. Patrol Bot's gotta go. Maybe Parallel Realities isn't good enough. Yes, it has to be good, right? Just like put it on any of our 3-power flyers and just like go to town. That's probably fine. Ten cards in this pack, so that means 7 people have picked out of it, so we are officially not getting any Channel Keep Hunters, and that's the risk that you run of picking up these synergy cards. Just like, sometimes they just go all the way around. It also means we're not getting any more removal, so we just have Guppy Gloves, Chastise, and Broodnet for removal. I guess I'm going to take the Spoil. Nothing too exciting there. Hey, Tinkertron Wield. Oh, take me some Tinks. This is a 2/2 for 3 that can give you a temporary resource, give you a charge, give you a threshold of your choice. So he's some fixing, he's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's a good, flexible, consistent card. I think we're pretty much built at this point. So what's the last cut? I think I like meaning the first revision or version. That's fine. Maybe Tinks just isn't good enough. Our curve's pretty low. We just go 9-9 on the resources. Yeah, maybe Tinks just isn't good enough just because our curve's pretty low. Although Tinks is nice because he allows us to go turn 3 Tinkertron, turn 4 Vigilant Duskwing. So, like, he's kind of like Mobilization as well. And I do like the fixing. And, like, the extra charge is not completely unreasonable. Yeah, I kind of just want all these things. I feel like I want to cut the Outflank or the Parallel Realities. Reality seems like it might be slow. I'm like, how often am I not winning a game? Yeah, I think Parallel Realities is a win more card. I feel like if I'm attacking with most of these things, I'm probably winning the game. Feel free to leave your comments below and let me know what you think about this cut. I may or may not end up back in the deck after I play some games with this deck, but I feel like my gut says I want to just like keep the curve low to start. Makes the curve look nicer here, so it's got to be right? Oh no! More Tinks! More Tinks! Look at all the Tinks! So, with 2 Tinkertrons, can I play 17 shards? He, like, cheats me up to my 5s anyways, and, like, this is basically a 3, and this is basically a 4. I don't think people... I can't believe that got that far around. I like this card a lot. I think the fixing is underappreciated that he provides, and the random acceleration. Yeah, I think I might break my Cardinal 18 shard rule here and play 17 because I have 2 Tinkertrons. And my curve is particularly low. Like, I don't have any actual 6s. I only have 2 5s. Give this a go and see how it feels. I don't have any double diamond early. I only have double sapphire at 5. So I can probably just go 8 sapphire, 9 diamond. Sounds good. We got almost equal number down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess 5. Oh, I guess I have double sapphire guppy gloves, but like Tinks fixes that too. So we'll put a flight gem in the Grimskull Tactician. We'll put in 9 diamond and 7. Only 7 sapphire because the 8th one is this coins here. Put in my flight gem so we don't forget. Then we're gonna go ahead and sleeve up Ada here for the champion. Just good solid 23 health, 5 charges, double diamond requirement. Summon 2 1/1 phantoms with flight. As always, I'm Jeff Hoagland. Thank you for hanging out for Draft Day today. And remember, if you want to support my content, you can do so in a couple different ways. The first is by buying cards from hexprimal.com. You can use that code Jeff5 to save 5% on all of your orders there. The next way is by subscribing on Twitch for $4.99 a month or becoming a patron on Patreon. And you can also support the content without paying anything at all by hitting that subscribe button on my YouTube channel or hitting that follow button on Twitter or Twitch as well. So thank you, as always, everyone, for hanging out, and be back tomorrow for another draft.